the scripture is today's last sermon on the series of why is this in the Bible. So today's the last one. I know you are shocked and disappointed that is the last one. I can see it in Joshua's eyes right now. Both Joshua's. But let's read together. 1 Chronicles chapter 21, verse 7 through 17. I'll read one verse. You guys read one verse. You guys know the drill. All right. Starting from verse 7, it says, "This command was also evil in the sight of God, so he punished Israel."
Then David said to God, "I have sinned greatly by doing this. Now I beg you, take away the guilt of your servant. I have done a foolish thing."
The Lord said to Gad, David's seer,
"Go and tell David, this is what the Lord said. I give you three options.
So Gad went to David and said to him, "This is what the Lord says, take your choice."
3 years of famine, 3 months of being swept away before your eyes. The sword was overtaken you for 3 days of the sword of the Lord, days of the plague in the land. The angel of the Lord ravaging every part of Israel. Now then decide how I should answer the one you sent.
David said to Gad, "I am in deep distress. Let me fall into the hands of the Lord, for his mercy is very great. But do not let me fall into human hands."
So the Lord sent a plague on Israel, and 70,000 men of Israel fell dead.
And God sent an angel to destroy Jerusalem. But as the angel was doing so, the Lord saw it and relented concerning the disaster and said to the angel who was destroying the people, "Enough, withdraw your hands." And the angel of the Lord, standing at the threshing floor of Araunah, the Jebusites.
David looked up and saw the angel of the Lord standing between heaven and earth, with a drawn sword in his hand, extended over Jerusalem. Then David and the elders, clothed in sackcloth, fell face down.
David said to God, was it not I who ordered the fighting men to be counted? I, the shepherd, have sinned and done wrong. These are but sheep. What have they done? My Lord, my God, let your hands fall on the. Oh, it's hard to read. On me and my head. I think it's got cut off. Sorry. So this is a story that not many people know. Did you know Did you read the last? The verse before last one, this verse 16, how big the angel was. It says David looked up. The angel was between heaven and earth, meaning that angel was huge, like tall, huge, giant angel, right? Because the sword, right, extended over the Jerusalem, meaning the sword was so long, it actually extended over Jerusalem, the whole city. It was that big. It was a gigantic angel. Did you guys know about that? Have you heard of that story before? This is a crazy story, huh? I mean, this is something that not too many people are aware of. I mean, some of these stories that I've been telling you, not too many people know about floating axe head or, not too many people know about this story, right? It just reminds you that God does sometimes some outlandish things. The things are like, whoa, what is that? Why is that even in there, right? The giant angel? And it's like, what is that? So today, to fully understand why giant angel was there, right, to punish Israel, you have to know the backstory. So what happened was, David right? The mighty David. David who defeated Goliath. That David, right? He was the king. So he was a king for 40 years over Israel. That king. And then one day he was in his kingdom. Satan comes over and entices him. Say, hey, you should do a census. You guys know what census is, right? Census is where you go out and count people. Like, how many people do we have? We do census every year, right? Is it every 2 years?
Like they do a big one like every 10, but they do like little mini ones every year.
Every year, right? Yeah. So the census is like, okay, how many Koreans living in Anchorage? Or how many, a Caucasian male with bald head, a beard, living in Anchorage. Like they do a certain type of census. So David said, hey, let's do census. Because the Satan, and he's like, oh, let's do census. Then his general, Joab, said, ooh, that's not a good idea, king. I don't think you should be doing that. And David's like, nah, bro, you're going to do what I just told you. And so he goes out there and does the census. He doesn't even really do a good job either, because he didn't even go certain sections of the country. It's like, oh, I didn't even go there and I didn't go there. But, we have about 1.1 million fighting men, right? Men who are ready to fight for you. And God got angry. And that's what you just read. God got angry. What? Right? God became angry over him doing census. So you have to, let me give you a background story of David, a history of David. So David became king of Israel in 1010 BC. He rules for 40 years. You could read that in 2 Samuel chapter 5, verse 1 through 5, where David becomes the king over all Israel. And David, after he becomes a king, in 997 BC, he sleeps with, he has an adultery with Bathsheba, right? One of his general's wife. By the way, she was taking a bath in the middle of the night, and David happens to be there on top of the roof of his kingdom, and he saw her like, she's fine. Oh, I like her. So even though he probably had like 500 wives and concubines, he's like, oh, I gotta have her. And like, whoops, she's pregnant. Oh no! While his general Uriah was fighting the Philistines in the front lines. And then he's like, oops, right? And he made a big mistake. And that was 997 BC. So after he became a king, 1010 BC, 997 BC, he made that huge mistake. The death of Bathsheba's first child, the one he had an affair with, that when she got pregnant, that child died in 996 BC. And then she gave birth to another son through David, right? Because he literally killed his own subordinate, Uriah. And in a despicable manner too. He told the other generals, hey, when you tell Uriah to charge ahead into the Philistines' kingdom, and when he gets close enough to the arrow where arrow could fall on him, you guys fall back, let him go forward by himself, so he could get all the arrows. And that's how he died, right? So Uriah died, so he took Uriah's wife, Bathsheba, as his wife. So she gave birth to a second son. His name is Solomon, the king after David. The Solomon was born in 996 BC, after the death of the first child. And then Amnon rapes Tamar. Amnon was David's son, another son. Tamar was Amnon's half-sister. Yeah, it gets complicated. So Amnon rapes his half-sister. And then, because of that, Absalom, David's another son, enraged by what just happened, because that was his full sister. Tamar was Absalom's full sister. So Absalom found out, no way, hell no. And then he killed Amnon, and that's 990 BC. So Absalom returned, he gets banished. He flees to Geshur. He flees after he kills his half-brother, Amnon. And then he flees. And then he returns in 987 BC. So after 3 years later, he returns. The problem is Absalom, after he came back, he said, you know what? My dad, David, he sucked as a king. I'm going to be the better king. So he starts rebellion. Where Absalom, after he kind of reconciled with his dad, 985 BC, Absalom starts rebellion in 983 BC until 982 BC, where he gets killed by no other than his subordinate, one of his subordinates. You guys know how Absalom gets killed, right? Do you guys know? Yeah, how does he get killed?
His hair got stuck on a tree, and then one of David's soldiers killed him.
Yeah, so, yeah, I know, right? So he had a beautiful lock of hair, riding his horse, and then his hair gets caught in a tree, like, whoa, and the guy gets tangled. I don't know how, but he did. He gets tangled, and he's trying to get it off, and then one of David's men saw it, and was like, whoa, isn't that Absalom? Oh, cool. And he stabs him and chops his head and brings the head of Absalom to David. And David's so enraged, you kill my son? Even though Absalom was trying to kill David, right? At the time, David was running away at the time. And so David got so angry, he killed the soldier who killed his son, Absalom. So all that happens in 982 BC. From 1010 BC to 982 BC, all these started to happen. David became really a weak king. He was once a mighty king, right? A man of faith, man of God. David was a man of God. And then he became so weak to a point where he started listening to the devil. Devil's like, and he's like listening to it now. And David's like, oh yeah, let's do census. And so census begins. And even though Joab, one of his generals, says, no, let's not do that. And Gad, his prophet, comes and says, well, you shouldn't be doing that. God will be angry. But David didn't care. He's like, whatever. And then God gets angry, tells Gad, hey, tell David that I'm angry with him, I'm going to punish him. And he's going to have 3 choice of punishment. It's kind of really weird, but it all ends in 3s. So the 3 choices are, number 1, 3 years of famine. Number 2, 3 months of devastation by foe. Or choice number 3, 3 days of plague, and then sword of the Lord punishing Israel through angel. And now David's like, what do I do? Do I want the famine? Do I want the enemy to attack me for 3 months, devastating our land? Or should I just have a plague, like a disease? Let's have a disease for 3 days. And then, let the angel of the Lord come and punish us. Yeah, the angel of the Lord seems like the least amount of destruction. That's what he thought. So David tells Gad, hey, Gad, tell God, I want choice number 3 out of 3 choices. And it happens. It's the first 3 days. How many people died? Do you guys remember? 70,000 people died. 70,000. 70,000 people died of a disease. And then all of a sudden, after the 3rd day, what comes out? Huge, giant angel with a sword that stretches over Jerusalem comes. And he's about to destroy the whole city. With one sweep of his sword, he could probably destroy the whole city. But God says, no, let's withdraw your sword. Stop your destruction. That's the story of what's happening today. Isn't that a crazy story? Like plagues and census. So your questioning is, why God so angry with the census? So who cares? God, David wanted to go count how many men he had in his kingdom, right? Nothing wrong with that. Israel done many censuses, by the way. It's not the first time. By the way, when Jesus was born, it was kind of like census at the time. Because everybody had to come register themselves, right? That's why Mary and Joseph was going there to get census, to get registered. Part of a census. So there's nothing new about census. So why God so pissed off at David for a census? It's really meaningless. It doesn't really do anything. It's not like he went over his enemy's house or, he worshiped another god, things like that. He didn't do anything like that. He just took a census. But problem with that census is that, number one reason why, there are a couple reasons that God was angry. Number one, census is only allowed by those who are owns or belongs to the owner. So David did not own Israel, right? David is not the owner. He's the ruler, but he's not the owner of Israel. Who's the owner of people of Israel? God. So who can only do the census? Who could only do the counting? God. So every census that was done in the Bible, God initiated. God told them, hey, do the census. Israel belongs to the Lord and not the king. If you look at Exodus chapter 30, verse 12 says, when you take a census of the Israelites to count them, each one must pay the Lord a ransom for his life at the time of his counted. Then no plague will come on them, then you will number them. So meaning, all the people that's being counted belongs to the Lord. You can't just go around and start counting people. That is not your job. So that's one of the reasons why, God was so angry. So census, second reason why God was so angry is this: census would signal for his people and to God that you rely on the strength of your number rather than God. So God said, I'll be with you, right? I will protect you. I am Emmanuel, right? God with us. I am your Emmanuel. I'll be with you. Doesn't matter what number you have. I mean, remember the story of Gideon. Gideon had how many soldiers at the end of his process to defeat the enemy? 300. He only had 300 to defeat the enemy that looked like a sand in the sea. Right? There's so many enemies, but yet God only used 300 to defeat it. 300 were able to defeat this large enemy because of what? Because of who? God. God was there. Samson by himself killed 30,000. How? Because he had God on his side. So it doesn't matter how many were on their side. As long as God is on our side, It doesn't matter how many number we have. We just have to trust in the Lord. And God said, trust in me. Don't trust the other things. And so when you start counting, oh, how many soldiers do we have? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you start counting that way, you're saying you don't trust God. You trust the numbers of the people you're counting. And so that's why God was so angry with David. And David, as soon as he realized what he did, he was like, oh, yeah. Idiot me. I'm sorry. He immediately knew. As soon as God got angry, he immediately knew that he messed up. Like, oh my God, what had I done? Do you know how first king of Israel, Saul, how did he lose his kingship? Do you guys remember? He disobeyed God by performing his own, what? Sacrifices. Without waiting for the priest to be there. He did his own. He's like, I can't wait. I'm going to do my own sacrifices. And he did his own. And God, as soon as he did that, God immediately left him. Literally, the Spirit of God left him. And he became crazy after that. So David realized his mistake. And then he realized what he has done. And so the story why God has to send the giant angel to punish Israel is because David's foolishness. David's pride. Right? David was prideful. At the moment he said yes to census. So what can we learn from this story? There's 3 things we can learn from this story. Number 1 is that trust in God regardless of the situation. God has shown faithfulness to his people. And God never leaves us or abandons us. And knowing that we can trust him and his love for us, we shouldn't allow the situation of our lives to get the best of us. Oh no, oh, what's happening? Oh, this is happening, that's happening. Oh, I screwed up, or that's not happening well. Oh, this is not happening well. Oh, whoa, oh, boo-hoo-hoo. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Stop panicking. First of all, what do you have to do? Trust in God. God said, I'll be with you. I'll take care of you. I'll give you the answers. God will give you the answers. God will take care of you. You just have to trust in him. I know the process of trust is painful at times. You just have to know that. At some point, the process of God, how he works is that you have to go through some pain. But you stick with him. You trust him. And as soon as you do that, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. If you're a child sitting in the back of the car, and if you question your dad who's driving every minute, why do you did that? Why did you do this? Why are you going left? Why are you going right? If you question everything every time a dad does something while he's driving, first of all, it'll piss off the dad, right? Like, stop asking questions. Like, trust me, I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing, right? Yeah? It's like, trust me, son. I know what I'm doing. Don't worry about it. I got this. Don't question me. I know what I'm doing, right? But when you start questioning God, like, oh, God, why do you do that? Oh, God, why can't you do this instead of that? Well, why are you giving me this instead of that? Do you see the analogy now? It gets you understanding, doesn't it? Like if your son in the back of the seat continuously aggravating you by asking everything that you do, why did you turn right there? Why did you stop at the red light? Why did you make a left turn? Oh, why did you stop here? If you keep asking God that question, God, the driver will be pissed off, angry, because you don't believe in him. It's not just aggravating, it's angering because you're not trusting the one who is doing the work. The second thing we need to understand is that anyone can fall into the temptation of the evil one, the Satan. Anyone. It doesn't matter if you're the mighty man of God like David. David who defeated enemy after enemy after enemy, including who? Goliath. David was the mighty man of God. He was a man's man. You know what I mean? Like he was the man. Although he was dancing and his pants fell off, but still man. By the way, that's in the Bible. I'm not making that up, but it's in the Bible. He was rejoicing so much, he was dancing so hard, pants fell off. Right? He was a man. Like, I don't care if I didn't wear underwear, bros. Right? Anyone could fall into temptation. Even David fell into temptation. The wisest king ever lived. What's his name? Solomon. He fell for the temptation. Moses fell for temptation. All these mighty men of God, even Abraham, father of faith, known as the father of faith, lied about his wife, by the way. Yeah, that's another story in itself, he was like 80-some years old at the time. And his wife was like 80-some years old at the time. And the king looked at his wife like, oh, she's fine. 80-year-old grandma looking fine? Like, how fine was she? So he had to lie because he thought, oh, he's going to kill me and take my wife, Sarah. So he had to lie. Oh, yeah, she's my sister. Twice. Not once, twice. Everybody falls for temptation. I don't care who you are. I don't care you're the Billy Graham of today. You will fall for temptation regardless of who you are. Know that. So trust in God. Know that you are not immune. James chapter 4 verse 7 says, submit yourselves then to God. Resist devil and he will flee from you. Submit yourself to the Lord. Then and as you submit yourself, you could resist the devil, and then the devil will flee from you. And the last thing we need to learn is that don't allow pride of your heart be in between you and God. Sometimes we're so proud, aren't we? We hate to admit wrong. We hate to admit. You know who does this really well? Teenagers. Teenagers will go to grave before they admit they're wrong. Right? Come on. Unless you're threatened, unless you're threatened with something that you really hate, you'll be like, no, I didn't do it. No, I'm right. You're wrong. Men are very stubborn, right? Submit it. It's okay. We're a pretty stubborn being. Sometimes women too, right? Women is not like totally immune for being prideful, right? I know women is the king of the household at this time, but they're wrong sometimes. And if I point out the wrong to my wife sometimes, she's like, no, you're wrong. I say, no, I'm right. She's like, no. She's like, no. she's so confident about her wrong. I'm like, no, that's not it. This is it. And she's like, no, you don't understand. You don't get it. I'm like, oh, I do. I believe I do get it. You're wrong. She's like, no, I'm not wrong. And then later on, I was right. The few times I am right. And she's like, yeah, you didn't win. I admit no defeat. We are prideful. We had a lot of pride. Let go. What does pride gonna do in front of God? Right? Is pride going to make you a better person before God? No. Pride before a fall, right? Pride before a fall. If you keep that pride before God, you will fall. You will fall flat so hard on your face, you don't even know what hit you. Let go of the pride. There's no need you to be prideful before God. God is always right. You know, in VBS, I always do the 2-rule thing, right? Sanju, do you remember? You don't remember that? Oh, it's so easy. Number 1 rule is, I tell the kids during VBS, rule number 1, I'm always right. Right? Rule number 2, if you believe I am wrong, see rule number 1. That's my rule during VBS. I'm always right. God is always right. God has 2 rules. God is always right, and if you believe God is wrong, look at rule number 1. God is never wrong. Take the pride out of your heart. Let God be in. Make some room in there. Get rid of the pride. It will be empty a lot. Your heart will be so much room that God could be comfortable in there. Let go of your pride. And if you do, and when you do, you will be a man, a woman that's stronger than any other. And you don't even have to face that giant angel in your life. So trust in God. And then know that you could fall by the temptation of evil. And the third, let go of your pride. Let's pray.